Hello everyone, this is Mira, and this is another matchup video, this time for Ed. So, Ed is a kind of a tricky matchup for Laura. A lot of Laura players say it's either, like, even to slightly in Ed's favor to even saying that it's a really bad matchup. I think it's kind of slightly in Ed's favor. I kind of have some trouble sometimes in this matchup, it can be kind of annoying. But there are a lot of like tools that you can utilize against him, and if you stay composed and don't let things snowball out of control, you can definitely do well in this matchup. So thunderclaps. So crouch light kick as like every character except Balrog. And EX upper obviously can go through fireballs, but he has a couple meterless options as well. One huge damaging option that every loadout gets is he gets up kicks, and this is a lot of damage and it's just a lot for going through fireballs. So like fireball traps can sometimes be kind of tricky. It's actually pretty consistent at doing that. He also in V-Skill 2, this is frame invul on, frame invul, what am I talking about? It's a projectile invul on frame 5. So he can't go through EX clap with it, or like doing like a fireball and activation kind of thing. But he can get through like the cancel strings or like these like mid-range or like even farther range kind of like fireballs. So just something to be aware of. He does have decent ways to go like through her fireball pressure. So it's not something that you can always rely on. I'm gonna go through like I think a couple of like big things that like some people just in general struggle against against Ed. Stand heavy punch. I know a lot of you guys just don't like dealing with like this like quote unquote mix up, because like what if I like hit a button and he uppers, or I don't wait for the upper and he hits a button, or he backdashes. So like the easiest thing you can do, you just crouch jab, because you're +2, or you can crouch short, crouch jab. But the thing with crouch short, crouch jab, if you chain it, you're gonna get hit. So linking just the crouch jab, it's going to beat the cycle upper, and it's also going to beat backdash. It's going to be button, backdash. It's going to beat everything except block. And once you start conditioning them to like actually start blocking, that's when you go for the normal throws. After normal throws or command grabs after that, and then you can even start to shimmy them after that charge spheres. And a lot of times they're gonna like maybe in this range kind of like feint the spheres. Ooh, that's 1 2 3. This is kind of an annoying button. It moves him forward a little bit. It has like decent range. It crush counters. Crouch Fierce deals with it very well. You can also sweep. Sweep is also very effective. So this is my go-to, sweep or crouch fierce to deal with this button. I'll kind of like delay a sweep or something, or delay a crouch fierce to try to just clip the button. I'm really looking for the purple to like go away. Sometimes you can just let it go though. Like if you're really scared about either like him just charging it all the way and you eating a fully charged stand fierce, like I understand. It's best to play it safe. Another thing, we're gonna just talk about V-Skill 2 now that we have it here. Uncharge is -6. Laura unfortunately doesn't really have the best punishes for it, as you can see. It's really annoying. That's why I just go for like a button that I know is gonna hit. And just take pressure that way. A lot of times I'll just use Stand Fierce and EX Thunderclap, or like Micro Walk Stand Fierce or something. And then the charged version is gonna be it's gonna be -2. I did the downward version because this was supposed to be V-Skill 1. Speaking of V-Skill 1, So knowing their patterns of what if they like to do the uncharged V skill. What am I doing? Or the charge V skill is very important. This is -2. It's actually kind of quick. It doesn't have the best range. You can see it kind of like it ends kind of right here. So knowing what range that they can do that in, ooh, that's weird, is really important. As you can see, the charge V skill, it has way more range. So like kind of like right around here. So if you see a whiff, you can try to like medium bolt. It's kind of hard. You can really only do it with the uncharged version. You can EX bolt to punish that, but a lot of times I'm looking to jump these. I'm looking for that charged animation. I'm kind of sitting outside of I'm sitting outside the uncharged range. And then if I see him charge it for any longer, ooh, that's up. That's right. But if I see him doing it for any longer, then I'm like, oh, he's charging it, I'm gonna jump. So knowing like the ranges is very important of that V skill. And sometimes like if he does catch you with this, honestly, I just take the throw most often than not, because the only thing he gets after a forward throw is a roundhouse, and he doesn't really get anything after back throw. You see he's -8. He can't dash up. He's super negative. He is -2 after this. It's kind of annoying, but that's why I just do jab jab. Even if he dash forward uppers, it's not gonna matter because you're gonna be able to block in time. If you time it right. If you're a frame late though, you're not gonna. You're gonna have a bad time. That's why matching on wake up after throw is not the best, because a lot of times I'll delay a jab. Ay, ay, ay. I delay jabs because I'm gonna catch the I'm gonna probably catch that dash up unless he fucking does like a that's okay. Trades are okay. Unless he does like a dash up upper. See? I'm gonna block the roundhouse, and then I'm gonna deal with the dash. My delays. This is why you time it. This is why you practice this. So your delays are a little bit more tighter. Yep. Just so you have the right timing. That's why it's worth it to just practice delaying a jab on wake up. It seems like, oh wait, I just delay it, right? Like, oh, I can do that. But then you see you delay it too much and you get counter hit. So knowing the timings is very important. One neutral tool that's really annoying for Ed, well, for Laura, is roundhouse. So roundhouse is really good against Laura for, well, one, it's a huge damaging option. Even if you kind of interrupt it, if you're like, you might get crush counter, but if you interrupt it, you're gonna whip that light buffer. So this is why light buffers in this range can be kind of dangerous. It is -4. It is a little bit kind of tricky to punish, but you gotta just practice it. So knowing the ranges where it's unsafe is really important. Practicing that, and also practicing whip punishing it, because it's super whip punishable. This button's like hella whip punishable. You can neutral jump to kind of make things awkward, because a lot of times like low forward, your best button, it's gonna get low crushed because of it. He's just gonna hop right over the low forward, and it's really annoying. You might interrupt it, but that's what happens a lot of times, is you just get stuffed. So a lot of times I play in and out of low forward range, and the buttons I'm really looking for looking for that roundhouse, that uncharged fierce. His low forward you can get. I look for that button too. I don't know why people sometimes throw this out in neutral, but I don't know. This is whip punishable for me. But I look to whip punish with Sand Fierce. Yeah, or stand leg kick. You really want to see what buttons they throw it, because if they're throwing that roundhouse all the time, then I'm looking to counter poke them or like whip punish them. But if they're not really throwing that roundhouse at all, I'm walking forward and I'm looking for this low forward. I can hit low forward again if you condition them to stop hitting that roundhouse. If you're punishing them with either the crouch jab into light bolt or you're whip punishing them. Yeah, another button they might throw. I don't know. See why a lot of Eds don't throw this button out. It's +2. It's a little tricky for me to whip punish it. It's pretty quick. You can use the sand medium punch to kind of get it, or crouch medium punch, and it's kind of tricky. I don't like this button as much, but if you're crouching, low forward will get it. So that's why this is like the counterplay to like, it's the wheel of options. Like if you're doing roundhouse a lot, then you kind of want to be passive. If they're doing like V skills, roundhouse, like all these like really heavy committal things, then you're the one that's just playing the waiting game, just kind of playing reactive and waiting for your opportunity to strike. Because especially if they're doing like, all right, they'll do like charge, heavy punch. Now they're putting themselves -2 in front of you. That's totally cool. Like now they're basically giving you a free mix-up. Basically it's a light bolt mix-up. That's what I treat it as. Like that's a win for me if I block a charge fierce. I'd be very cautious about jumping on Ed. Those up kicks are really damaging. It's very risky. You can try to cross him up, like jump him up like cross up range, and sometimes it's good to present that threat to see if they're sleeping or if they do anti-air, because the ground game can get kind of frustrating. I do realize that. That's why it's really making them forget about certain options, like making them taking something away, like taking the roundhouse away. Now I can move forward, or like they're thinking so much about the air or ground approach, and I sneak a fireball in because they're not thinking about either V-skilling or like up kicking through the fireball or whatnot. So something like to think about. Speaking of fireballs, his fireball it's kind of okay. He can't really play the fireball game with you, especially if he throws a feint. If he throws a feint and lets one go, or doesn't let it go, that's level 2. He has to spend meter for it to hit twice. So if he doesn't have V skill 2 and you're this far away, you can start charging like a level 2 fireball or throw an EX clap or whatever, just to see what how he's gonna react to it. So that's what happens if he doesn't have V skill 2. I don't really like throwing fireballs at this range when he has V skill 2, because an Ed will be able to just V skill on reaction, normally. Yeah, I think that's it for neutral. It's basically just taking away certain things. Roundhouse actually is not a bad button. I like to say whenever roundhouse is used, I use it or not. I do use roundhouse against Ed. The thing with roundhouse, crouch jab is a decent punish. It has decent range. But he doesn't get you can feint him with this this trap works against that crouch jab. So if you space it right, but he's really only getting a 1-2-3 off of it, so he doesn't get the full up kick combo. He just gets 1-2-3. So knowing what he can get, what the risk reward is important. If you're willing to risk that, to miss spacing this and getting hit with crouch jab and a 1-2-3, that's okay. Just make sure he doesn't have super. During pressure against Ed, I like to keep it nice and simple. I like to do a lot of normal throws, crouch short, crouch jab, crouch jab, keep it nice and safe, shimmies, because Ed can snowball real quick. I really do not want to get eaten EX upper and then have him on top of me again. I think that's the thing that frustrate people the most, how he can just seem to like, you seem to be doing fine and then you get hit by an EX upper, or he like backdashes and then he gets in again, and it's just like, well, come on, yo, like, this sucks. This is so annoying. Ed is so annoying, man. Like, you just all they do is just upper or like whatever. That's why, like, be willing to look like to win neutral. Like, it's not the easiest like matchup to learn neutral, but especially if it's like, if it's a patient Ed player, then sure, like, turn that against them, start command grabbing them and like actually going for like the bigger risks. It's just something you have to really like think like, is this going to be worth the risk? Am I really gonna be willing to have them just backdash and then dash up jab up kicks in the like pressure? Like, it's something with all matchups. What are you willing to lose? What is the gain? What is the lose? Like, the risk reward, you really have to balance that, especially in this matchup where things snowball really quickly. You just have to be really diligent. But I try to keep it nice and safe against Ed. I really don't like to commit too hard. And defensively against Nash, so there's one thing that I really don't like. I don't like that. Oops. And if they commit and then they're like, oh, I'm just gonna backdash, because like the pushback is so much, and his backdash is so decent that this doesn't work. Crouch fear, like, Sam, look at this. Ugh, it's like, what? You can dash with him, and you're +8 if you time it right. You can light bolt. You can punish it that way. You can forward heavy punch. But then you're like, oh, I'm gonna commit to this read, and then you eat that. That's why sometimes just like I said, keeping it tight. Eventually, he might do the option where he's gonna jab instead of backdash, and you're counter hitting him. So if this happens and he backdashes, you're back to neutral. That's all right. Like, he's sacrificing space for safety, but eventually that safety is gonna run out, because like, if he just keeps backdashing, like, he's gonna run out of room eventually, you know? That's why you just gotta keep walking him down. So that alright, another common string I see Eds do all the time, that this is not a true string. They try to catch you with that. Here. Oh, they do EX. Well, how do I do EX? How do I do EX? There we go. I don't know Ed very well, even though I play him a little bit. I'm weird. Alright. That's not the right one. Is it this one? Yeah. This, you can counter hit him, actually. If you're not me and you can actually time a jab right, you know. There we go. Cause they're trying to catch you walking back. They're trying to catch you walking back and then do decent damage. That's why if they're doing this string, check them. Know what strings are fake, what are real. The thing is, he can keep this string real by doing that. So you gotta know what the counterplay is. But if you start keeping it real, after the stand strong, you just backdash. You can learning to backdash like other opponent's strings, like, is very important. It's like, oh, they're always backdashing my string. Like, I'm sick of this. Let's see. I think maybe, I don't know if Sand Pierce is gonna work for him. It's kind of slow. Yeah, I think he has to do a real hard call out with like a roundhouse or something, or a dash up or something. So knowing when you can backdash his strings is important. Let's talk about his V triggers real quick. So if he does like roundhouse and activation, like with VT1, this is a really bad activation with him. If you have V meter, I don't need this. You just V reversal. Bye bye VT1. It really only becomes effective is like right here. He gets a knockdown, he backdashes, and then he activates it that way. Here, let's see. I'm gonna backdash. Oops. Okay. See, it's really hard to go through. That's why like you can do an EX clap, but there's so many hits now. You used to be able to like in V trigger just charge that, and it was basically gone. That's why they buffed it, because situations like that. What you can do, a lot of times they're looking for you to jump, and they're using like to stand strong. I sometimes do instant air or roundhouse to throw a hitbox, and I'm moving forward faster. You can also, if you're really close to it, V-shift to see what's going on, and you might be able to V-shift break through it if they're like committing to like a jump. You just gotta be aware of like the spacing, because you might actually just get caught. That's why like it's tricky like once they already have it out here, but they have to give up a lot of space, and it's just like you can also interrupt them if they're just backing up to do it and you have bar. Like, yeah, you can't EX, but or medium bolt, but you can EX this. Yeah, just if you're a little late, be wary that you're gonna eat a whole combo. But they can't just back up and do it for free. They have to score the knockdown and then activate it. But if they like do it from like this range, there's actually a gap in between a lot of things like buttons and activation. Oops. But you can just V reversal a lot of it. Laura's V reversal is really good. All right, let's not touch on that too much. Just so you know, if he gets the knockdown and then backs up, he usually earns it. But if he just tries to activate it on block or just tries to backdash and you have meter and just blow it right up. All right, VT2. Also full of kind of gimmicky stuff. So stand fierce into that. It's a true string. It causes a guard break. It's +3, but you can't combo off of it for whatever reason. I take throws a lot when he's in VT2. If I have a lot of health, I take throws, and try to make him waste his V trigger by doing guard breaks and stuff. Oops. Oops. Alright. Sorry, y'all. There we go. I did it. There's a gap here. See, I backdashed too early. You can V-shift it. You can neutral jump it. Backdashing can be kind of eh. Certain strings you can backdash, but like know that they do like flicker into it to try to like sneak that extra pressure in there. That's fake as fuck. Don't let that happen. You can EX command grab through it. So like anytime you have meter and there's a gap, you just buffer. If you start seeing them like cancel stuff like that into VT2, sorry, if you have meter, start buffering V-shift or start buffering EX command grab. Like V-shift has made this VT really bad in my opinion. Like if you have V meter and there's even a frame 1 gap and it's not a true block string, you just V-shift it and punish him. The thing, like, yeah, you might get clipped if he just kind of does it in neutral, you know? Like you can get clipped, but a lot of times in neutral I'm looking for that charge. or like I'm jumping back. Jumping back is honestly the safest option because he might do the up one and just, oh, I'm faking you out, you know? But if you jump back, you're not gonna get clipped by it and you waste like a third or whatever of his V trigger. Yeah, stay safe. I think that's it. Kick his ass. Alright, bye y'all.